This rice is starting to get that yellow, browned out look here. Exactly what we want to see. It's going from that bright green down here to that more yellow, browned out, drying out look. Alrighty, let's go plant us a duck swamp. And one deviation from what I was saying last time is I am going to fertilize this time. I couldn't resist trying it just to see if it made a difference. And I have pre-soaked this rice. We are soaking this rice because this swamp has been drained down dry. So we are broadcasting this onto a dry mud flat, which is not always ideal. Some areas are really wet, but a lot of areas are dry. So we wanted this seed soaked and already starting to germinate so it takes right into the soil and off to the races. Perfect.
We want to go to the water.
You can go to the water, but there's some deep mud. You got to stay out of the deep mud.
Okay, I'll go over the hill.
In years past, this swamp has been completely covered with fragrant water lily, making it really hard to get seed-soil contact. Last year, I treated half the swamp to help knock back some of the lily pads, and this year, I treated the remaining half with a 2,4-D granular herbicide that really helped open up this ground to improve seed-soil contact when we're out here seeding the rice. If this is your first time tuning into my rice planting videos, I encourage you to go back and watch the prior videos where we do a deep dive into the more technical side of rice planting. We discuss certain varieties of rice. We discuss ideal conditions and different types of water level control structures. They're all on the channel. Just search rice. There goes our little swamp seeder. That's what we want, that soupy wet mud, the rice to sink in. That's what rice wants. You may not be able to come over here. That one ate me the other day. That's the deepest one in here. So we got about 80% done. Now we're about to head up to the upper end and get all in between all these rushes and sedges and up the creek channel. This is a blast. It's going really well. All the kids are being a legit good help.
Here, let me get some more.
You load it up?
I'll get it all full.
Perfect. We're following this creek channel up, getting every stitch of this swamp that's got exposed mud, even up here into the cattails. You want to help and film? All right. All these little nooks and crannies.
What are these?
Cattails. If you bust that, it'll go into a million pieces. It really will. It's probably not a good thing. We don't really want them everywhere. Yes, sir? It keeps going, doesn't it? That's the creek channel. That's where most of the water comes in. We got way up into this head section up this channel. We've never planted this far up before, but because it's always been underwater. But with this year's drought, there's a lot of planted area way up in here when you start to look. Because this rice will tolerate, when the water comes back on it, a good 4, 5, 6 inches. We got our 100 pounds of rice put out. I'm really happy with the coverage we got and the soil condition. There are some high and dry areas, but most of it's that soupy, muddy, porous kind of look that you're really looking for. So we've already got one bag out there, so we've got 4 bags of 3400 to help feed that rice. Two people with 2 bag spreaders made quick work of putting out this 200 pounds of 3400 high nitrogen fertilizer. Should be plenty of nitrogen to feed this rice. Well, as you can tell, I am hot and nasty because, well, it's hot and nasty. But I am very pleased with the coverage we got. 100 pounds across an acre, and then 4 bags of 3400 spread really evenly. High nitro to feed this rice. Of course, you saw the kids were helping. So we have areas that are really heavy seeded. I'm trying to kick it around the best I can. Kids are helping, so I wasn't gonna micromanage everybody. But otherwise, we've got a lot of good coverage here, and we got something volunteering. I don't think that's millet or rice. I think that's just some kind of weed. So we will have some competition in here, but the second that puts its root down, it should be off the races. It'll probably outrun those weeds. We've got these guys coming up, which I am about 99% sure that is rice from last year. That's what rice looks like when it comes up. real stiff single stalk. So we're probably gonna have a lot of volunteer, which I can see a ton of it from last year coming up in here, which is not a bad thing. The other thing I'm excited about is in years past, all these channels were full of water, and this end down here was full of water because we couldn't drain it quite that low. But now with the drought, we're able to seed rice all the way across this pond, all into that standing water, and that water should continue to evaporate, and that rice should have no problem coming up in 1-2 inches of water. So that'll be a good little test for you guys that always ask, can you plant rice in standing water? This will be a good test for that. This corner over here, we did not seed in rice. I've actually got a bag of Japanese millet. I'm gonna come back here in a couple weeks and seed this whole corner in Japanese millet just to have something a little bit different in here, have some diversity. I think we're gonna have some volunteer from last year coming up, but we did intentionally hold off on this whole corner here to plant that with just something a little bit different to show y'all. And this is the original bottom drain that somehow the beavers have never figured out how to clog up. So I do want to open this up now, so if it rains, it'll drain it down at least this low. We'll stay on top of it because our flashboard riser sits about a foot higher than this drain right here. So this is good that we had this bottom drain in here, just in case we get some rainfall. This is our beaver seclusion cage. It keeps the beavers out of our flashboard riser over here. Got it fenced off so the beavers can't get in. That is going to wrap this one up. A lot of kids included in this one, so I hope you're okay with that. This is a family endeavor, trying to include the kids, get them excited about it. Hudson came out here last year and we shot our first wood duck together. So this is slowly turning into a family, kid-oriented event out here planting the duck swamp, teaching the next generation how to be conservationists because we feed a lot more ducks than we ever kill. So we're giving a lot back here. We do take a little, but that's part of the process. But I really appreciate you guys watching. Until the next video, God bless, take care. I thought they would be asleep.